My name is Ossia Dwyer. I'm a Cincinnati-based stand-up comedian and podcaster, and I've been invited to the Full Spin Club to talk about Starboy by The Weeknd.
Welcome to the club, Ossia.
Thanks.
I'm good, I'm great. Know that she loves everybody. Talking about her face, coming off a bag of blow. We can just be rocking. The secrets that you keep. Girl, come show me your true colors. Sidewalk, see my life. 6 feet under, she gon' get that fucking pay. Cause she loves to lay alone night. Baby girl looking for attention. This ain't ordinary life. Might be nothing. All I know. Just know that I would die for you. I feel it coming.
Welcome to the Full Spin Club, everybody. My name's David Stewart. I'm the host of this fun online album listening club because books are lame and I'd rather listen to music. Today, like she said, we have Ossia Dwyer on the show. Give it up for Ossia, everybody. A few reminders for new people to the show. This show is cut into 3 segments. Up first, we'll have On a Pedestal. It's where Ossia and I will talk about 3 things that we each liked about the record while we were listening to it. The next segment will be called On a Spit, which is where each of us have been challenged to come up with a roast, or 3 roasts of the record, and do the best we could. And then the third one is called On a Turntable, which is where we sort of deep dive into the record as well as the more personal parts of our lives that made us reflect upon. Somewhere cut in the middle of all that, we will have a few record scratch moments, which is like small little mini games that I've come up with. One of the mainstays of the show now is called Hit or Full of Shit, which is where I take takes from the internet as well as my own brain, and we discuss whether they are good takes or full of shit. Ossia, Are you feeling ready?
I am feeling ready.
Hell yeah. Can you give me like a 1-word description of your experience with Starboy this time around?
Oh, this time around?
Yeah.
Reflective, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, okay. In what way?
In like it made me reflect on a time when I really liked this music. And the other aspects other things that were going on in my life at that point. And I was like, okay, there's some good parts of this album, but not as many as I thought at the time.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I had a similar but different take where I was also reflective. That's a solid word.
Yeah.
Because it was like I was looking at it with like 30-year-old goggles as opposed to like being in college and like, woo.
Yeah.
But it was really telling to me like how flawed and codependent The Weeknd is.
I know. That was, yeah. I mean, we can get to it in the roast, but
yeah.
Geez, it's just like, how toxic can you be?
Yeah, so toxic. That rules that we both picked up on that. Now that like it's like I don't know about you, but I've been to therapy now, and I'm like, wait a second.
I mean, this is not the ideal man.
No.
Like at that point when it came out, I was like, this is the coolest person I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, dude. And like as a young man, I felt like the same. I was like, he finally gets me.
Yeah.
Like one of these artists in pop finally gets me.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. Like as a 30-year-old, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have been gotten so good. Like,
well, what's like crazy is so like this album came out in November, I think. Is this part of your, I don't want to step on your toes.
Go ahead.
November 2016.
uh-huh.
So right around Thanksgiving. So it was a month after I started dating Garrett, my now husband. But I was like 21 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And a week before this album dropped, me and my best friend and her friend, a couple of her friends at the time, went to New York City, went to a live taping of the Jimmy Fallon show. And he was a musical artist.
Mm-hmm.
And like you don't know until really the day of.
Yeah.
And so I saw this. We were in the front row. I saw like his whole thing, and I was like, I'm living the best life. Nothing can get better than this. I'm in New York City. I'm at the Jimmy Fallon show. I'm hot enough to sit in the front row. Like, this is the best day of my life. And then I like watched that again, and I was like, this was boring.
He's just up there being toxic.
Yeah, he is. It was like colors, and he was just kind of like there.
It was just colors, like the
back.
lights?
It was like this big, billowy, like I don't like weird. I don't even know how to describe it. It was like crinkly and shiny.
Oh.
I don't know.
Weird set design.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Was it pre or post haircut?
So I think this was like maybe one of the first appearances post haircut.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of like, oh no.
Ooh.
The weird hair's gone.
Yeah, weird hair's gone.
Which
I'm dried right up.
I know, but then I looked at pictures of the weird hair today. Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, it was tough.
I'm like, I don't know. I am not one where I'm going to know about that kind of hair. Like I don't, do whatever, but it was just, I don't know how he even got it like that.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a dread. It was just really, it was like teased.
Yeah, it was like 2 dreads.
Yeah.
2. And it was wild.
I think he just didn't take care of his hair, and then he's like, this is what a cool,
This
like,
is me now.
modern man looks like. I bet it stunk so bad.
Ooh.
I bet he smells bad.
Now?
Yeah.
Even post fame,
Yeah.
this guy smells.
Yeah, that's my hot take.
All right, I'll keep that one in mind for when Hitter Full of Shit comes
Yeah.
up. One of the ones I got for Hitter Full of Shit on the internet was it just said sucks. Like, what do I do with this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like the album before that was so big.
Oh, it's
and
huge.
it was so not revolutionary, because it's not like he's like Prince or something like that, but it was such a it was played everywhere.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is like I thought this album came out and then he played the Super Bowl. He didn't play the Super Bowl till 2021.
Yeah, till after hours. Yeah. Yeah.
It got even worse.
Right. I don't know, dude. I got really into the lore of the Weeknd.
Really? Oh,
Like,
see, that's when I dropped off, when he was
okay.
all like the bloodiness and
Yeah.
the gloves. No, I left at that
in
point.
preparation for this episode, I did find myself like in the lore rabbit hole of the Weeknd. It's part of the fun of making this show.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like, okay, let's see what the video essayists on
Oh,
on YouTube
the
have to say
2-hour
about
YouTube
this.
thing. I was more looking up who he was dating at all the different points.
Oh, I think this one was Selena Gomez, right?
It was Bella Hadid.
Oh,
It was
interesting.
pre-Selena Gomez.
Okay, because I know call out my name off of like My Dear Melancholy. I thought that was about like Selena Gomez, but is it about Bella Hadid?
Well, he was dating. I think he didn't start dating Selena Gomez until after this album came out.
Okay.
If I have the timing right.
Sure.
If Cosmopolitan magazine has the timing right.
The online version of Cosmopolitan magazine.
I mean, who knows? Because we listened to the album, he could be dating 6 women at once.
That's true. That's so true. But before we get into roasting him and his horrific choices, let's start with On a Pedestal, which are the 3 things we both just kind of adored about the record. Because like there were high moments, there were highs.
Yeah.
What's your first one that you have?
I think it was easy to listen to.
Okay. Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of like good and bad. But for me, who's someone who isn't like sitting down to listen to music at home, like I'm only doing it in the car, it's just like easy background. Like you kind of feel like you're in a fun movie and it's just kind of playing at like a cool restaurant.
Yeah, I agree. I think like, cause like I'll just go right into mine. Cause I said the absolute consistency of this album rules.
Yeah.
Like I was like, it is tight, like almost no skips. There is one that I will roast, but it's like almost no skips.
I wonder what it is.
It flows really well, and it was fun to be reminded how good it was. Like,
Yeah.
I know you were like, it's different now, and I'm like, it is. Like I don't agree with it as much, but it's still like well made.
Yes.
And I was like, oh damn, this like kind of bangs still.
Yeah.
Like there were some high highs on this record.
Yeah. That was like, I think my second one was like I don't love a slow song all the time.
Right.
And there was not really any slow, like even the slow songs, like my favorite song off this album, and has been since it came out, is True Colors, which is
love that.
a weird.
Oh, I fucking love
but
that
that's
because I
only, like,
hate that song.
Really?
I
That's
hate
why
that
I
song.
listen. That's probably like my top listened to Weeknd song of all
Really?
time. Yeah.
That's
I
fascinating.
like it. But that's the like slowest it gets, and even that, it's not like I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there was no kind of real dip for me.
Right, that's my skip. Like,
Really?
that is-
I knew when you said that I was probably
It's
gonna
probably
be.
true.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that song. I like it.
Maybe it's because like again, he makes most of his music for like what can only be described as depressed white teenagers.
Yes.
And
yeah. And who are just so horny.
Yeah. They're horny. Like when I did an episode of the show with Zach Wyckoff about Deftones, I was like, this is for sad, horny people.
Yeah.
Like, this is for a different kind of sad, horny people. One that don't have rage. Like, it's just depression.
Yeah, it is.
Rage.
It's just, it's just sad, lonely women in college who are just like, God, I wish someone would be nice to me.
Yeah.
And he's not even like describing being nice, but he's describing being
love bombing.
Nice in a moment. Yeah, and sometimes that's all you want. Sometimes that's the best you can hope for because you're 21 and everyone that you've been with so far, it sucks.
Yeah. Some of us are 30 and the only people we've been with have kind of sucked.
But it's like, I think that's why I appreciate it differently because now like that I'm married and in a long-term relationship, I'm like, what was I thinking? Walking around in a city listening to this? Like, thinking like this is me?
Meanwhile, like my favorite time to listen to The Weeknd is like in January and February when it is just dark outside.
Oh yeah.
And like it is so depressing. Like,
yeah.
I'll be like, oh, let's put on My Dear Melancholy. Like this will perk me right up.
Yeah, you're really feeding into that. That's not helpful. That's
No.
toxic behavior towards yourself.
Yeah.
Weaponizing toxicity internalized.
Twice this week I've been recommended I go back to therapy.
Oh my gosh.
So just keep you can have the third one.
Oh, third pro?
No, I mean like third. You can be the third person to recommend.
I'm literally like 2 therapy sessions in.
Oh, okay.
And I've already made my therapist almost cry because she was like, this is really depressing. She was like, well, do you have like suicidal ideations? And I'm like, I don't anymore. And what happened is that I stopped thinking about suicide seriously because I got 2 cats. And the thought of them sitting at the top of the stairs waiting for me to come home when I'm dead was like too much for me. So that just kind of cured any suicidal thoughts I had.
Cured
and
me
she was
right
like, okay. That was the intake appointment.
Oh, good. Well, you got it out.
Getting to know each other. Yeah.
Okay. How about your second?
I gotta look. Well, my second, I feel like I got out my second. What was my third? Maybe I didn't have a third.
It was True Colors, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I just said it was like, it's very, like the way I consumed the Weeknd was mostly like pregame and parties. Yeah. And we were so obsessed, not with this album, but previous Weeknd albums. Like one of my friends got the jukebox unplugged because he put in $100 and put on a Weeknd. I think he put, I think he put, We Were Often.
Oh,
That's my second favorite Weeknd song. He put that on with, I think, probably 50 times because it was popular, so $2 a credit. And they just unplugged the jukebox. So I think it was nice to, like, relive those, like, oh, this is fun. Like, I'm getting ready to go out.
Yeah.
I'm out already, and someone's put this on. It feels like fun party music.
Yeah. The album before this was so iconic. Like,
yeah.
I chose this one because it was, like, one I was like, yeah, this one, like, honestly, I did an Instagram poll, and it was by far the most popular vote of, like, Weeknd albums that we could do.
Because there's stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know. One previous, what are you going to say?
Yeah, the one previous about Beauty Behind the Madness, I would just talk about how it came out while I was living in LA, and I was like, it sees me. Like, I was like, the hills, they're right there. Like, I'm just like.
It was so, it was so iconic. I think it made people want to do cocaine again. Like, and because it came out pre-cocaine having fentanyl in it. So we were like all still having fun with it before it got scary.
Yeah, now it's scary. Now no one has any more fun.
Exactly. And this probably around this time this album came out is when fentanyl got added. Ugh. Is there a connection? Maybe. People were like, the Weeknd's gone too far. We're putting fentanyl in the cocaine, so they stopped listening to this shit.
That actually probably is true. He's like, we're putting it in, like, or we need to keep these youngins addicted.
Yeah. The music's not doing it for him anymore.
We need to power this stuff up. I think my second one is the inner conflict throughout the entire album. Like we talked about, like it's highly toxic and codependent throughout. But like there is like little flashes of like inner conflict about that toxicity that like pop up, and I'm like, the fuck, like a moment of self-awareness, and it always caught me off guard. I'm like,
because you're like, whoa, a man is self-aware.
Yeah,
at his own toxicity.
Not just a man, but like my pinnacle moment of this self-awareness comes from the actual king of toxicity himself, Future. It comes from Future, who's known to be the most toxic man in like media. And it was in All I Know, in it, like the very beginning of his verse, he's like, I'm terrified to get my heart broke. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, he said the quiet part out loud. And like, and then he instantly goes into his like, and I'm fucking all these bitches. And I was like, wait, no, go back. You said the good part.
Yeah, I think you connecting with that Future line definitely means go back to therapy.
Damn it, the third one.
if that's what you're like, finally he said it. The quiet part out loud, that means go back to therapy.
The quiet part out loud is Future admitting that he's scared to get his heart broke after being the most braggadocious man in media.
Well, that was also like, that was kind of a pro for me, is like, it wasn't overly stacked with guests. Yeah. Sometimes like the back half of an album will just be mostly guests. It's like, this is too much. I can't remember all this.
It's like having too many guest spots on a show.
Yeah. 2 guest spots. That's good.
That's
how many are in this album? 3 maybe?
Yeah. And they're all like very notable. Like Daft Punk, crazy.
Yeah. Like Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. Kendrick, Future.
At the time this came out, huge.
Yeah. Massive. So he obviously used his budget well, because after Beat Behind the Madness, I'm sure he just got like a truckload of money to make his second record. He's like, I'll get Daft Punk to do it. Yeah. Like, who do you want? Who do you want to do it? Lana Del Rey? Oh, Queen of Toxicity. I really love his record, guys. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm in a weird headspace.
This might be the record for me.
All right. So we've talked about the toxicity. Let's do a record scratch right now. It is the name of the minigame is Cute or Creepy.
Perfect.
Is the Weeknd romantic or codependent? And I have 3 examples from songs where I'll like read the lyrics, and you decide if there is like what percentage between like creepy or cute it is. Okay. Like the codependence, like graph. Okay. All right. So for the first one, it is from the song Reminder. And it is, you know me, you know me, you know me. Every time you try to forget who I am, I'll be right there to remind you again.
That's going to be creepy.
Yeah, that's creepy.
How can that be cute? He's just modernized the Police song, right? Whatever.
I'll be watching you.
it's just he's taken that and he's put it in his own words. And that's the epitome of creepy songs.
Yeah. Yep. Because like this game came out of How I Met Your Mother, where they have like the is it Dobler or who's the serial killer that your husband?
Dahmer.
Yeah, Dahmer or Dobler. And it's like they try to like figure out, it's like, because like depending on the context, it can be romantic until like the advances aren't wanted, and then it's suddenly insanely creepy. Yeah. But in this case, it is. Yeah, I agree. The codependency like meter is like.
Yeah, like she's broken up with him already, and he's just like, but you know, I'm still here. Yeah, you like, can't. That it's like he's yelling, "You'll never forget. You'll never meet anyone better than me."
Yeah. You know me. You're the only one. Yeah. Like just like pushing on like the button of like, I need you. I need you. I need you. Yeah. And oh my gosh, nope.
No, thank you. Out. No, thank you, Weeknd.
Everybody's very complete. We all have other people in our lives. Weeknd. All right, next up from the song "Die for You." Yep. You're scared to be lonely, especially in the night. I'm scared that I'll miss you. Happens every time.
I think that's cute.
Okay. So like the meter's a little.
I think that's going closer to cute, because maybe she is afraid of the dark.
You're scared of the dark, baby girl. Shh.
Yeah,
let me be your light.
That's how I took it, and honestly, I think that's when that I listened to that, got to that song, I was like, oh yeah, this guy has a problem. Like, that was really when it was clicking in.
Yeah.
And like every song you're talking about the same thing pretty much.
Yeah.
But I do think that's nice because like I'm probably not afraid of the dark, but you know.
I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
It was a big childhood thing for me.
Oh, I was terrified of the dark.
Yeah, I did not like the dark.
Yeah.
I'd be like the classic like run to the light switch.
Yep.
Or like have my arm in the room and flip it on.
Yeah.
And then I enter the room.
Yep.
Like,
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
who's gonna pop out of there? If it were my childhood fear of the Wicked Witch of the West, that would do it for me.
Yeah. But like in this song itself, toxic.
Oh, extremely. Extremely. Die for you?
Yeah. Yeah, the song itself problematic, but maybe that who are we to prescribe? Let's cut all the other toxic things he said and just look at that line.
Yeah.
It could be cute.
It could be cute.
We'll give him some redeeming qualities.
We'll give you a 55% cute.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
over the line.
Yeah.
Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, exactly. Don't analyze it too much.
And finally, the entirety of the song, Nothing Without You. I couldn't find a lyric in this motherfucker.
This album could be 2-3 songs because most of the song, I mean, they're good music, but they all say the exact same thing.
Yeah. He's like, I'm scared to love.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make myself irreparably a part of your life until I decide to walk away because I'm scared.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to ruin so many people.
Yeah.
He is like a person that you would date, and then the next guy you would date, all they have to do is like not steal your credit card information, and you're like, you are a gentleman. Like, it's that level.
Like, oh my gosh.
I imagine like he's got like, the Weeknd probably has a beautiful California home, but like those shiny satin sheets on the bed.
Oh yeah.
And they're probably filthy.
Yeah. Oh, the satin sheets. I
Yeah.
hate those. Ugh. All right. Well, thank you for playing the first record scratch of the day. Hell yeah. That's fun. We'll be back with Hitter Full of Shit later whenever the special phrase triggers it.
Uh-oh.
There is no special phrase. I'll just do it when I feel like it.
I don't want to say the wrong thing.
And I have one more pedestal, and it's just the song I think no one talks about enough, and it's A Lonely Night.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah, that like I always pick one that I think is like very good that is not talked about, and A Lonely Night is that one off this record.
Okay.
Like it is like it just slaps.
Yeah.
It's just really well done. It's super basic.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like because like it's probably one of the least toxic ones on there. That's why there's not allowed to talk about it.
People are like, I don't know if that one fits with the rest of the album.
Well, JK, now that the chorus is running through my head, he's like, A Lonely Night, baby girl, I met you on a lonely night. Like,
He's only out at night, like a fucking vampire.
Yeah. The Weeknd, a vampire.
But he evolved when he wore that like red suit. That's kind of vampire style.
Oh, that's true.
Remember when he wrapped his face up in bandages?
I do remember that. I do. Yeah. You should watch some of the lore about that. It's fascinating.
I don't like a concept like that. Like, that's where I lose people. I don't really I don't need stuff like music to be complicated.
Okay. Well, you're going to call Full of Shit on a few of the hits are Full of Shit.
Yeah, I'm like, at my core, what am I listening to now as an adult? Music that they play in a CVS pharmacy. And it's on shuffle.
Natasha Bedingfield.
Yeah, exactly. Los Lonely Boys. Because it's simple. Yeah, that song's so good. That's what we should have done, just that song.
Lord help me get away.
Yeah, I don't need the whole like conceptual thing.
All right. That rules. I do. I love it.
Really?
I love a good
from
concept.
the albums that you picked out that you like a conceptual thing.
I like a conceptual thing. I am like an artist's comedian. That's like how I think of myself. Like I'm the art kid of like the comedy scene.
Yeah.
Like where I went to art school. That's where I discovered that I liked comedy. But like that thread has like stayed despite all like the different comedy things I've tried is like I want it to be conceptual. Like I want this is a form of expression. And then like They're like, do more punchlines. And I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's the point.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, this is where I lost Childish Gambino.
Okay. That's a hot take compared to comparatively to some of the internet.
I know. I saw Childish Gambino on the Camp Tour, one of the best concerts I ever went to, but I was, like, full on early Childish Gambino.
Okay.
When, like, he was still doing mixtapes, when he put out the song Fat People, which was just about, like, eating to read. It was about snacks. It was, like, a comedy rap. And that's where I liked it.
Yeah.
And then it got too conceptual. Because he grew up. He wasn't like 24 anymore.
Yeah, you can't make your sketch comedy career into a legitimate rap career.
Yeah. And then, I was never too big into Weezer, but I know that guy's kind of a
That guy's
pill.
a weirdo. Yeah, that guy's a weirdo. Please, critique the rest of my records while you're here.
Oh, no. No, because you should see my record collection. It's mostly just Garrett's. And then he hides mine.
Yeah, I attribute your love of the Lost Lonely Boys to Garrett.
No, he's embarrassed that I like that song.
Oh, that rules.
Yeah, no, because he likes all of music, but he likes music. He's like, that is the most embarrassing song that we listen to. Oh, no, because I also like that song that's like Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow on the same song.
Oh, I couldn't even tell you what that song is.
Which is also very embarrassing. My Spotify shuffle, I just put all the songs I like. I can't listen to it with other people in the car. Like songs from the Kroll show.
Oh my
will
God.
come up because I think they're really fun. I don't care.
That rocks. Oh. Are you ready to roast this bad boy?
Yeah, I am.
All right.
We already started.
We already started. We've just been, even the good parts, we're like, but he's really toxic.
Yeah.
And it's not good. All right. We're here with Honest Bit. Time to roast this bad boy. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. All right. What's your first roast?
My first roast is that I think, which we kind of talked about a little in the beginning, this album was made for people doing cocaine in the Midwest who were pretending that they were doing cocaine in Los Angeles.
Correct. Correct.
It was
As
like,
someone who was a Midwesterner living in LA at the time.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
and
got me.
as a person who was allegedly doing cocaine when this album came out, like, it did make you feel like that. You were like, oh, I'm above, like, this, I'm different.
Yeah.
I was living in Pittsburgh. It's like, I'm not Pittsburgh. I know, like, I'm truly, like, a cool person. It's like, no, I wasn't. I was wearing a Forever 21 skirt. I was working at a duck tour company. I was throwing up on the bus on the way to my job at a tour company.
Feeling above this is such a good way to, like, pretty much just sum up the Weeknd's music and like what it does to people. They're like, I am above this. I am officially cool now.
Yep.
And like, even my sadness is cool.
Yeah.
It like, it's terrible, but I love it.
I know.
My first roast is about your favorite song, True Colors.
Oh.
It's True Colors feels like he wrote it for a canceled guest appearance on Sesame Street. He's like, well, I'm going to put it on the album anyway.
I think it's so good.
I don't know what
it's
it is.
It's the only one where he's like, please tell me the truth about yourself.
Yeah, but that's
All
in
the
the
other
love-bombing
ones-
phase.
I know, but if you don't listen to the whole album, if you're just listening to True Colors, then you're like, well, he's so sweet.
If you just remember the good times, he never abused you.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I took from True Colors and what I continue to take too.
I think I don't like the vocal melody. Like the
I think
like,
the chorus is it.
Colors,
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
True colors. I can just see the Muppets swaying as he sings it on Sesame Street.
I would love if he went on Sesame Street. That would be the collab he probably has.
Yeah. The collab of the year, the Muppets and the Weeknd. Do you think the Muppets would take the E out of their name like the Weeknd did?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Just the Muppets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They love a bit like that.
That rules.
That's a classic
Now
Muppets
I'm going to pitch it.
If you're pitching to the Muppets, that would be, I mean, Throw him everything.
I've got strings. I can pull them. All right. I've got
If a
strings.
puppet just came down the he's like, oh, you guys ready to keep riding?
Anyway, you came to the Full Spin Club, baby. I got the Muppets here, and they're like pop out. They're like, it's Animal.
Wow. That is the height of the, like, if I've made it, I'm on a show with the Muppets.
That rules. Yeah.
Same. Me and Garrett are very on the same page about
We're very
that.
aligned about this.
Yeah, it
goal.
was like one of the first things we were like, this is exactly the same. We have the same values when it comes to the Muppets.
Perfect.
They're amazing, and that is the height of, like, celebrity.
Perfect. You found your person.
I
I'm
know.
so happy
that
for you.
it is. Like, find someone who also respects the Muppets. He did get mad at me one time because I said Mr. Teeth instead of Dr. Teeth.
Oh.
And that was my mistake. But he did pretty
paid
sternly
dearly.
say, never disrespect Dr. Teeth again.
That is my boundary.
Yeah.
And you will not cross it.
Yep.
That rules. All right. What's your second roast, Osha?
Oh. It's my second roast is like, I'm trying to think how to put it. They literally didn't need to cut any of these songs into different songs. Just make it 1 hour long song. I wouldn't have known the difference at all.
Right.
Except when True Colors came on. That would be the only demarcation
That's the
for
single
me. Yeah.
and the rest.
You could have just put one long weird song out because he loves his concepts and then be done with it, and you would have saved a lot of money on audio engineering.
Yeah, it's just one song.
Yeah.
The guy opens up the file and it's an hour.
He's like, perfect, publish it to Spotify or whatever you have to do.
He's not Rush. Like
Yeah.
that's what Rush does.
He pretty much is. It's like the jam band song of hit, like, pop.
Of R&B.
Yeah. I mean, if you were like, the songs could have been just at least squish them like 10 minutes long, so they're easier to skip.
Yeah, that's fair. At least double up on a few
Here's
of
the
them.
thing: True Colors is right in the middle of the album. Just
Yeah.
make it 20 minutes at the front. True Colors, 40 minutes at the back.
I think you hated this record.
No, I like it, but I like to listen to it, but I don't need to listen to the different songs.
Sure, the different angles of the same topic.
Yeah, about, this lady, she's cleaning cocaine off mirrors with her face. Like, it's all the same thing, and then he hates her, and then he loves her. It's like, I'm kind of over that part of it.
That's fair. Which is a good segue into my second one. I said my neck hurts from the whiplash of the Weeknd's codependency.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is so jarring. He's like, I love you, and he's like, I'll never be loved. And like it's like,
yeah, it's like he's just gotta chill out. He needs to take a Xanax or something. That's my recommendation. Get on Xanax.
It's actually funny. So he threw shade at Drake in like one of his later songs. I think it's Heartless, where he's like, because like in Astroworld, like in Drake's part in Astroworld with Travis Scott, he was like, I took half a Xans and I had me out like a light.
Yeah.
Like 13 hours or something. He was just asleep off a half a Xanax.
That's an awful rap lyric.
Yeah, it's not great, but people sing it at festivals and that's what gets them paid. So,
oh my gosh.
had me out like a light. And so like the Weeknd's response to it in Heartless was just like, I took half a Xans and I still stay awake. Like,
okay, half a Xanax is not a lot. Like, I'm sorry. Like, have you ever been on a flight and I've seen like a white woman take like 4 Xanax bars and then have a white wine and then you can be asleep?
I have never taken Xanax because I'm fairly confident I would absolutely immediately become addicted to it.
Yeah.
And so, no.
I've also never taken Xanax.
Yeah,
I can confirm your suspicion is true.
I would be a menace with it, I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'd be like, wow, finally.
Yeah, because
I'm calm.
You're calm, and then you're like, what if I was the most calm I could ever be?
And then like, what if I did this every day?
Yeah, it's pretty much. That's what I've heard happens when you take it.
All right. Do you have a third and final roast?
Oh yeah, I just said he really does not seem to like truly care about the woman that he's written this about.
No.
He like everything is just like it seems like he wrote this album about 10 different women and he was like, well, whichever one sticks, it sticks.
Yeah, it's about one of you. That way when they ask, he's just like, yeah, it's about you.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's almost like those like I was never really into like emo or pop punk stuff. Ooh. But it feels similar to that. Of like if his hair changed to like the swoopy bangs, I would be like, well, that adds up.
So as an avid fan of the pop punk variety of music, you are correct. There is a disgusting amount of toxicity in that stuff too.
Yeah.
Namely Pete Wentz in like the first 2 Fall Out Boy records.
Yeah.
They are crazy. Like some of the lyrics in those records are so nuts that I'm like, oh my God. He's like, so douse yourself in shit perfume. Is like, it won't kill it. It won't kill it. It's like, he's like, you're like, and like it's alluding to like the idea that you're still gross.
Whoa.
Which is like the most horrific thing you could say to a girl.
Yeah.
Like it you can't cover it up is like what it screams.
Yeah.
He's like, can't cover it up. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like you're calling her like broken at that point. And I'm like, that's
nice.
the most horrific thing you could call someone.
Yeah, and now that guy's just like a dad.
Yeah, now he's just chilling. Yeah. But
it feels like when The Weeknd was making this album, even probably what happened is before he put it out, he would be like, oh, like, come over and listen to this really complicated new album. And, like, it's not out yet, but this is why I'm in this headspace. This is what I'm working on right now. Like, I just feel like so many 19-year-old models probably had to listen to this album in its entirety. Just sitting politely being like, this is nice.
I'll tell you what, though. They didn't make it past True Colors because they're banging after True Colors.
I know.
They're banging.
And that's smart. That's why it's in the middle.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the back half of the album.
No, because that's where all the terrible codependent songs are.
Yeah, he's like, don't listen to that.
Yeah, no.
That's only for the men that are going to listen to this album the whole way through.
Don't listen to 6 Feet Under.
It's like all about alluding to like how he's die for you.
Yeah.
6 Feet Under.
Well, 6 Feet Under was like about like from the perspective of a toxic woman.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like till she's 6 feet under, she gonna get that fucking paper.
It's all like he just needed one song that was like. Well, he could have done like a story song.
Yeah.
Throw a
the
bizarre one.
Stories.
No. Throw a bizarre one in the middle where it's about like a shipwreck.
It's a shipwreck.
That's like,
yo ho.
Yeah, that's what this album needed.
It needs a shanty.
Yeah, one fun one.
That's the same as like one silly one when you're taking pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for us.
It needed that. It needed to be like, yeah, it needed like a Saturday in the Park from Chicago. A song about literally nothing.
Just lighten this place up.
Yeah.
Open a window.
Exactly. He could have done that about like, yeah. Happy birthday. He could have sang happy birthday in the middle of the album.
It's like deeply copyrighted by Warner Brothers for sure.
No, it's not. Happy birthday is?
Yeah.
I thought it went off copyright.
No, since in television shows for like the longest time, they would like cut around singing happy birthday because it's like copyrighted. Like, yeah, like they'll be like, to you, like, and that's it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Is the Chili's birthday song copyrighted, do you think? I would have loved to be sang the Chili's birthday song in the middle of this album.
I don't know. I'll let you look that one up after we're done.
Yeah.
All right, my last roast is Daft Punk on the chorus of Starboy is how I laugh at open mics when I'm tired. Like the ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
Ha.
Oh, yeah, that's when you're hosting an open mic and you're numbered 25 on the list and you're just like, good.
You did so good up there, buddy.
But if you don't laugh, no one else is laughing.
Yep. Like that's like why I say John Holmes is the best laugh in the game.
Yep.
He's got it on lock.
Yeah, and you know if he's not in the room.
Yep.
When you're on the stage.
And no one's laughing.
You know if he's taking a break because you're bombing.
Yeah, I'm bad at my mic at laughing when people need the laugh.
Yeah, it's too much work.
It's a ton of work. I end up laughing when they're doing poorly, like at the wrong things. Like they whiff one, I'm like, oh my god, like it cracks me up.
But that's the truth. I mean, I was doing the set and I was trying a new joke and it wasn't going well, and I just heard like a loud ha from my friend off stage. I was like at a show. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, that means this is not gonna work out. Because he was laughing because I was bombing.
Yeah, that's how like two people in particular have like spoken up to me about how they know they're doing poorly if they hear me laugh, and it's Jake and Allison's tap.
That's an okay barometer. I'm like at the point where you'll see me like leave a showroom because I get so uncomfortable, and I don't have the patience to sit through a whole comedy show anymore.
Yeah, we've done our time.
I like to listen.
Yeah.
From like if I'm at Commonwealth, I like to listen from the hallway.
Yep.
And I'll look through the door, and that's good.
I've done that. I've hidden upstairs there.
Yeah.
I'm about to start bringing like my Nintendo Switch and just like playing playing Mario Kart to like pass the time. Like I want to be supportive. I will laugh for the room, but geez, watching gets exhausting.
Yeah, but I don't like. I'm like, you can listen to me and be on your phone if I can't see you. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Let me
I'm on
like
stage.
read a book while you do. That might cross the line. But you see, lots of comedians have like headphones in.
Yeah, that always bothers me a little more.
Yeah, I'm like, you gotta listen to your set right now. Why don't you listen to my set? Maybe
you'll learn something.
That's the one time a year I have confidence. I'm like, learn something from this.
All right, I think we're gonna do a record scratch right now before we get into the coup d'etat of the show, which is coup d'etat. There it is.
Coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat
is
crudité, and
that's
that
cut up vegetables.
Is carrots. Yeah. The coup d'etat.
I was like, oh, we're about to have some crudité. I love crudité.
But let's play a little game of Hit or Full of Shit.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're gonna hate all of these. Oh boy, yeah, you're not gonna like any of these. All right, the first one is this album was The Weeknd's last attempt to exit, like his last attempt at exiting the villain narrative. This is arguably his least toxic record.
I mean, I guess I didn't listen to the first record with maybe enough like critical thinking brain, but. He can be a villain. Like, who gives a shit?
It was like
he's not a wrestler. Like, it's not like he ever had a full turn. Like, he's not out there like making beautiful like he's not Andre 3000 putting a flute record out.
It's true.
He's still doing the exact same songs.
I think I wrote a lot of these with the arc of The Weeknd in mind, as an artist.
Full thing.
Yeah, because like this was the last one where like just no matter how like it was toxic, it was terrible, right? Like we've talked about it plenty, but like it was the last time that he actually talked about love in a positive way, even if it was toxic.
I guess that's true. At least this was the last one where you had to like not pay attention to his whole personal
lore.
Character he was trying to do to understand what he was trying to say.
Right. Yeah, it was probably the first record where he started using persona as a piece of like the puzzle. But
he was a famous person at this point.
Yeah.
And the first one he wasn't really a famous person. He was just like a guy from Canada.
Yeah, this dude who exploded.
Yeah.
Like the swiftness with which he took off was crazy. But yeah, so Hit or Full of Shit. This was his last attempt at love.
I guess that adds up.
Okay.
Probably.
So it's a hit, baby. So most of this section is just me saying things like, because like I'm traditionally way generous with artists about like their intention behind making things.
Gotcha.
And this is like a way to check myself. Like if I can convince people that my takes are like that generosity isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Or not.
Especially someone who does not think that music should be complicated.
Right. You're calling bullshit. And frankly, it's probably the most fun I've had playing this game. It's like, oh, Oshia's going to hate it. Let's see if I can win. But I got you on one.
Okay.
We got
I agree. Baby. That probably makes sense.
All right, this one is questionable. The Weeknd is one of the few pop artists who have made pop poignant pieces of living art.
No. No.
Full of shit, she says.
I don't think he's the only one. I think nowadays.
One of the few.
One of the few.
Right.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Because pop is so, like, cookie cutter, traditionally, really cookie cutter.
Sure. I don't know that I would call this album pop, though.
Okay.
I would feel like this is more R&B.
Okay.
Do you think this is pop?
Black Ocean?
No. I just think it's, like, the vibe.
Usually when Max Martin produces something, it is categorized as pop.
Pop.
Yeah.
Who else does he produce?
You
Everybody?
should look that up. Yeah, he did Baby One More Time. Like
he did all of it.
Yeah, he's done a lot. Max Martin's credits are thick.
I
He
guess
did Taylor Swift on 1989. Like he did.
I guess if you're thinking of it as a pop record, yeah, I think it is more complicated than a typical pop record. But I mean, if you look at someone who's like, if you look at like Ariana Grande, someone else who's like at this time, The Weeknd is dating Bella Hadid. He's dating. There's drama between him, and he's cheating on Bella Hadid with Selena Gomez, and then he's cheating on Selena Gomez with Bella Hadid again. So it's like he kept that out of the record. But if you look at someone like Ariana Grande with that one where she was dating, she was engaged to Pete. She had a whole like album about that. Maybe it wasn't like conceptually that, but every song like led into her personal life.
Sure.
So I don't know, does it need to be complicated?
Now, no, obviously it doesn't need to be complicated, but for those of us who are overthinkers and overanalyzers, it's fun.
Yeah,
for me,
I think they're saying that because it's depressing. I think there are positive records that have the same kind of, like, they have fun songs that are still complicated. Like, I'm obsessed with Chapel Roan right now, and I think like her record has a lot of fun songs that all lead into like, but they all feed into her personal narrative.
Okay. Yeah, I think his personal narrative is fictionalized.
Yeah.
And like made to be larger than it might actually be, as like another layer of like hiding behind it. Because like I think a lot of art, the purpose of art is like a protective layer between like your actual vulnerability and like sharing it with people.
Yeah.
So like you know, like I try to be as like real as I can with jokes, but they're still jokes, right? Because it's still protective from like me actually sharing my feelings with people.
Yeah.
And I think like The Weeknd is like so deep in it. There's so many like layers to this that like he's just deep in it. And but at the same time having smash ass hits like that just are crazy. As like that's why I call it like more of an artistic thing than your average pop song that's just there to hit the radio and that's it.
I guess for like when I think about the album though, I'm like he had like 2 songs bookshelfing the album that he knew were gonna be, they were like, this is gonna pay for the rest of the songs.
Yeah.
So at that point it would seem more like a capitalistic venture of like, okay, just do these and then do all your sad shit in the middle, and we don't care about that. Nothing's gonna pop off except True Colors for one woman, and the rest, like, so they knew they were gonna make money off of it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a guarantee.
For me, it's like, it's not complicated. They just let him do whatever he wanted because he was so famous. They still got what they needed. They still have Daft Punk come in and do robot voice, like. That's to me that's not complicated.
That's fair. Agree to disagree. It was a hit from my end, a full of shit from her. I got it. We'll move on. I will survive. Your approval means nothing.
You should. I mean, I claim to have no musical taste, as we've already talked about.
It's very fun to have you on this. I want you to know that. Like it rules. All right, the last one is this one's me. This one's all mine. This isn't from the internet.
Okay, this is your take.
I would describe this record as the days/months after selling your soul at the crossroads. Do you know that old adage?
No.
Like, I sold my soul at the crossroads, and like they became famous, and like
Oh,
so it's like making your
okay.
deal with the devil.
Sure.
It's like one of the oldest like show busy
Gotcha. I
like,
know.
myths.
Yeah. I would agree with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is him. Now I'm a famous person.
Yeah, like dealing with the fame.
Yeah.
And, like, I would say the best example is Ordinary Life.
Yeah.
Where he's like talking about all the excess of fame, and he's like, "But I feel nothing."
Yeah.
And I was like, "'Cause your soul's gone, dude. You did it."
I would agree with that. Yeah, you can't just do. You don't have the weird hair anymore.
Yeah.
You've cut it off. Obviously, something happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure his record executives were not like, please cut your hair.
They actually were not. They actually asked him not to.
Exactly. That's your thing. And then
Yeah.
he did. So I agree with that. There's definitely some confliction of like, am I just an artist or am I like a pop star?
Yeah. And yeah, so like he definitely like, I think he did ultimately sell his soul like in a more like nuanced way where he's like, I'll never be normal again.
Yeah.
And because like that's ultimately like the allegory for this is like fame takes normal life away from you.
But I think he
And,
took
like,
it too dramatic. He was being a little bit of a pussy about
Well,
it.
he's a theater kid.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was.
he's a theater kid. He took
It's
it personally.
Like, gosh, I'm so complicated,
All
and no
these
one
feelings.
knows. It's like, shut up. You live in a mansion.
House doesn't fix everything. Ossia.
Yeah, I'm sure it fixed some of his problems. Although we don't really like. It's not like his personal life was that much a part of his like personal. Like he wasn't posting on Instagram. Like
Right. He was always very secretive.
yeah.
Which I think is like one of his points. Like he's like, I want
yeah.
the art to speak for itself.
God. The worst. Like I don't think I would like him if I met him.
Well, don't watch the show Idol then. Like it's on HBO. He
Oh,
like produced
yeah?
it.
Oh yes.
It is tough.
I heard it's terrible.
It's very bad. It is tough
really
to
bad.
watch. I struggled through that one. Like I think it was right around the time I was moving here. And I was like, oh my God.
Because it was supposed to be like something completely different. Like there was something where like they shot the show and then he watched it and he was like, no way, we've got to do this worse. What if we made this show way worse?
It was like meant to compete with Euphoria. And,
yes.
Because like in the ongoing feud between Drake and in the Weeknd. Like
we don't need more. Have you seen Euphoria? It's the most toxic show ever.
That show is so nuts.
I'm like, are teens doing this?
I hope not, dude.
I don't know. I'm like, I would never. What was I doing as a teen? I was driving to the McDonald's 20 mintes away, and I was driving to a parking lot, and I was driving home.
Yeah, I was playing Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Like, just hanging.
It's like having a sleepover.
Yeah, the most crazy things we did in high school were like get drunk in a soccer field.
Yeah.
Because there was nowhere else to go.
Exactly. It's like, I don't think teens are doing that. Although, I did go to, have you seen the meme of like, there's now just like 12-year-olds have taken over Sephora?
Oh.
Probably
No.
not because you're not looking for makeup. I did go to Sephora yesterday as an adult, and it was just like 10 to 12-year-old girls buying like wrinkle serum. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
You're in the prime of your life.
Like, you don't need
your
this.
skin gets no.
I need
like,
this.
Yeah.
Give this back to me.
Your skin is as smooth as it will ever be right now.
Exactly. I feel like I've strayed from the microphone. Okay.
All right. Are you ready for the final segment of the show?
Yeah.
On a turntable.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing Record Scratch. I think we,
Yeah, it's fun.
last one. And all right. So these are questions I sent you ahead of time to kind of like listen to think about while you were listening.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about them in general?
I thought they were fun.
Okay.
They were sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't like, did you have a fun time? Did this make you feel fun?
I like to dig in. Ossia.
Yeah.
I like to
Yeah,
dig
that's
in.
fine.
We'll start with the simpler one first. Is like, what is the best 3-song run on this album?
Yeah.
And then what made it stand out to you?
Ooh, I guess I dropped my phone where my answers are, but the best song run for me, unsurprisingly, is the song before True Colors, into True Colors, and then the song after True Colors. I'm pretty consistent. If I like a song, that's what I like.
It's funny because you don't even know the other ones. You just
It's like Secrets into True Colors, and then I think the Lana Del Rey one's after it,
okay.
right?
Yeah. I could look that up, but I won't because I'm busy. Yeah. Mine was 6 Feet Under, Into Love Delay, Into a Lonely Night, which is in the back half of the album,
Yeah.
which you've specifically said is dumb.
It's just so, that's where I got so sad until, because the whole back half of the album, I'm just like, oh, I'm just waiting for, like, I feel it coming.
Yeah. Well, like, these 3 songs for me, they were just, like, really solid, dancey hits. Like, I would say, like, Love Delay and A Lonely Night are, like, not exactly strong in the depth department, but, like, they are fun.
Yeah. I think any song off this album could be, like, a very good option for those TikToks of DJs where they're like mashing up 2 crazy songs because they're just so consistent.
Yeah.
You don't even have to change your beats per minute, probably.
No. You don't have to pay attention to that.
No, you're just like, oh, throw another one in there.
But yeah, so that's my favorite 3-song run. It's just fun. Like the bass hits in 6 Feet Under are so good.
Yeah.
Like just, I don't know.
It'd be great if you were like at a party, I don't know, I've never been to a club, but I'm sure.
You never been to a club?
No.
They're wild.
I've lived in Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, and I have no desire to go to a club in either of those cities.
Yeah, the ones here are not good. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But like, I've been to like the Vegas clubs to just see what they're about.
No interest. I think if I was younger, maybe.
Yeah. Well, now my friends have to when we go there, they're like, "Are you going?" And I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
I
want to go to the buffet.
Yeah, I am gonna gamble. I'm not here for anything but the tables.
I once did a fundraiser show for a women's shelter in Pittsburgh, and they held it at a nightclub. And the nightclub, the stage where we were performing to raise money for this women's shelter was in front of a ship. It was like the hull of a ship with a busty, naked mermaid, topless mermaid on it. And then on the wall next to it, it said, "Let them eat cake." I said, who the fuck picked this venue?
Who designed
and then
this?
The bathroom was supposed to look like a French catacombs with skulls all over. Skulls and bones were the walls.
What
and
the
it's
fuck?
like, and it's just like, right before I go on, it was some woman being like how she escaped domestic violence.
What the
and
fuck?
It's like, this is a fever dream.
And now I will be doing comedy.
Yeah.
To lighten the mood.
I actually performed there twice. And the second one I opened for this guy who has since been canceled.
Oh.
So crazy.
That'll
what a venue.
it. What a time.
So I've been to a club, but not with music on. Just with sadness.
Just with deep sadness.
Yeah, just with bizarrety.
Well, if it makes you feel better, the deep sadness exists when the lights are going as well.
I know that. Oh God.
It's a wild time. It is an experience like no other.
I don't like. I just want to. If I'm at a club, like, I don't want to have to fight to get a drink.
And then you'll pay $1 billion.
Yeah,
for that
I don't
drink.
want that. And I'm not gonna. Garrett can barely hear as it is. We don't need to take him to a club and have him try to order me a vodka cranberry, and I never get it, and I'm just getting more and more angry.
Garrett at the club does make me giggle. Like, the idea of it does make me giggle because he's definitely like supportive dad at his daughter's 21st.
He would be like, "If you want to do this, let's go and do it." And then I would immediately say, "I've made a mistake," and he'd be like, "We paid $50 to get it."
We're gonna stand here till the DJ mixes 20 songs together.
Yeah, he's like, "Well, just let me wait and see if they play any Grateful Dead."
That'll be a disappointing time for him.
Oh yeah.
All right, on to the next question. Given the massive sounds and pop elements The Weeknd is known to use while the lyrics are often very dark, it could be said that he is the epitome of all that glitters isn't gold. As you're listening, what's a time in your life where the glitter wasn't gold?
I think it was like previous to this album, like when I was in college, like I felt like on the surface everything looked really cool. I was like living the epitome of what I thought was cool in college, which was partying Wednesday through Sunday, staying up late, never went to any of my classes, but was like I knew where all the parties were. I had like connections. I had just started doing comedy. I felt like an adult, but like in actuality I was like burnt out, like sleep. Like, I would sleep all day because I would party until like 6 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
failing out of college, like, had $0 in my bank account, even though I worked every weekend.
Yeah.
So it was really like, you can get to a point where you think you are, like, you're living your, what, like, my weird band nerd high school self thought I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And then you just, like, you look back and you're like, but I'm so sad inside.
Right. The emptiness of it all.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And it was like, because this album came out at such a different time. I mean, I was only a month into my relationship with Garrett, but he was already so different. Like, at the beginning, he tried to pretend that he was, like, young and fun. Like, I would be like, well, let's meet up at, like, 11 p.m. And he'd be like, definitely. But, like, I was still in college, and he was a 30-year-old man with a regular job. And he's like, well, he's just used to, like, go to bed and then wake up.
Yeah.
And then come meet you. So I think this was, like, immediately came out at the time where I kind of snapped out of wanting to be at the party every night, like, do that. And I was like, oh, comedy's really fun. You still get to go have, be at a bar and you're with sad adults, but I'm not, like, masking everything.
Yeah, the third place that comedy provides a lot of us is really great. I know it's saved a few people in the scene.
Yeah.
Like, it's something to do. It's really passive. Like, you don't have to talk to anybody if you don't want to, but you're still around people. You get to do your thing. You get to bail. Like,
exactly.
Like, you're there for a common purpose, but you're not beholden to that. There's no actual rules of, like, I have to be in this place for this X amount of time. Like, it's really great.
And it provided me something, like, because I really thought I was very academically strong in high school, and then when I got to college, I immediately started to struggle academically because I went to a pretty underfunded high school at the time. I took, like, 2 AP classes. Like, I just was not at the level that all these kids coming from, like, big city schools or private schools were at. So it's like, okay, I've lost that confidence of what I knew I was good at. And then when I started comedy, it was like immediately I was getting laughs. I was being successful, and I was not a comedy genius, but I was like, oh, it seems like people like what I'm doing.
Right.
And this is kind of filling that void that I was filling with partying, of that's like being known as a smart person that I didn't feel like I was known at anymore. It's like, oh, now I'm a funny person.
Right, which takes being smart. Like, you just got to, like, use your powers for good.
Like,
instead
and
of, like,
replace, like, me being known as a messy person.
Which great. Yeah, I feel that. I would say that, like, what glitters isn't gold is, like, my entire social media, like, versus, like, what's actually going on in the background. Like, when I moved back here from LA, it was on the shoulders of, like, unfortunate family issues, and, like, but no one really knew about that. I was like, I got this killer new job in my hometown, and, like, so, like, all the good things that are going on at the same time, like, is what I chose to showcase. Or, like, stand-up's doing really well now, like I'm back, baby, like, and, like, oh, look at all these shows. But, like, on the other half of that is, like, things are really hard right now. Like, I'm absolutely losing my mind. And as far as the song that, like, triggers that most, like, that feeling most for me, mine was, like, Party Monster. Specifically, like, the I'm good, I'm great. Like, because, like, I can vividly see myself at parties when, like, life was at a downturn and being like, yeah, man, I'm good. Like, and just saying it to say it. But, like, deep down, I'm like, I'm here because I'm bad. You know that, right? Like, I don't like partying. When I'm partying, it means I'm doing poorly.
Yeah, because it's like, it's something where you're like, well, let me go out and, like, judge other people. Or, like, you're like, well, I can't be the worst at a party. I can't be the person who's feeling or looking worst at a party.
Right. Or I'm typically just there as, like, a numbing activity. They're so stimulating. Like, whether you're drinking or not, parties are super stimulating. And, like, you're like, I'm just like, oh, yeah, dude, I'm good. I'm great. Like, and holy fuck, am I not?
Yeah.
Like, we are filling voids here, gang.
Yeah, see, I took that line of like, I'm like, that's what I would tell people and then fall down the stairs of a basement.
Yeah, right.
I'm doing really good. Let me
Yeah.
just go get another beer down the stairs.
Like,
Still good.
still good. Yeah. Totally good. But yeah, man. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, yeah.
And final question of the day, everybody. The Weeknd himself has said this album and persona came from wanting to shed everyone's idea of him after Beauty Behind the Madness. As a creative, have you ever felt painted into a corner by your own work? Do you resonate with the desire to remind people that you are more than what you've done so far? And is there an example you'd like to share?
Yeah, I definitely resonated with that. I think maybe like 6 months ago to a year ago, I felt like I had this set that was doing pretty well, like a feature set, like a 25-minute set, but it was pretty much entirely negative about my own body. Ooh. Which, like, I don't mind. I like to joke about that because I think it's okay to have insecurities and share those, and it makes other people feel more comfortable. But it was just like I was finding like I would get done. If you do it twice in a night, it's like I don't believe in this anymore. And also, like, God, like, I don't want to hang out with this person. Like, people are laughing, but like, at what cost to my own confidence?
Absolutely. Yeah, I had that as well before I lost all the weight, whereas like all of my bits are about it. It's like this thing I'm highly insecure of, and like I would spiral after a certain point.
Yeah.
Because like the feedback loop is so conflicting, where it's like, I don't like this, they do, I like when they like me, so like I will now, you know, restart the cycle, and it's terrible. So I 100% understand that, and like having to like step outside of the comfort of your set that you know so well is also difficult.
Yeah, 'cause it's like I want to be successful, I want to be consistent, but like I would get like 20 minutes in, it's like, God, like I don't believe this anymore. Yeah. And if I don't believe a joke, I literally cannot bring it to fruition. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't care enough.
That's such an important part of like, you got to believe in your own set. Yeah. Because like they're not going to buy it if you don't.
Exactly.
So
it's like, if I don't like a joke, I'll stop doing it. And people will be like, oh, you haven't done that one in a while. I'm like, I forgot I had that joke because I didn't like it anymore.
I don't like it anymore. It's on the shelf. We'll see if I pick it up again. But
exactly.
Nah, dude. Like, I'm such a firm believer in the doing what you feel like doing. Yeah. Because there are people that I talk to that will get like real anxious before big sets, like things that they perceive as large, like, you know, wherever they are in their career. And I'll be like, do what you feel like doing. Yeah. Because it's not going to matter if you do the thing you think is going to work, but you don't want to do it because it'll flop, and then you'll be like, fuck, I'm an idiot. I really agree with that. Like, I have to feel, I will not write a set list until I get to the venue and feel like, what is the energy? What am I feeling off this energy? And what jokes do I have in my repertoire that will match all of like being funny, but also be making me feel comfortable in the space and making people in the space laugh. Yeah. I'm similar. I will do it a little earlier. Like, I will do it day of. Yeah. Like, I'll build the set day of based on how I'm feeling, and then I will make edits based on how the room feels. Yeah. That way we kind of meet somewhere in the middle where, like, I still believe in what I want to do, but at the same time, if there's something hilarious that happened, I'm gonna touch on it. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, if you're tired, say you're tired. Or like, if I'm tired, maybe I can't do it. Like, I've never done a high energy set, but maybe I can't be what I view as high energy. Yeah. So like, why am I trying to fight that? Why am I not feeding into that? Well, there's people in the crowd are probably tired too. Yeah. Well, I think authenticity is best. That's like why, like, I've seen people like, there are comics in the world that have shticks. And I was like, that must be exhausting, because what if you don't feel like being that shtick today? Yeah, like, I think it breaks a lot of people eventually. Yeah, and I was like, just be you, dude. Like, be you. The funny will come. We're all humorous people. Like, I know we're all like working out the muscle of writing a joke, but at the same time, there are folks who are genuinely just funny. Yeah. And like, I think it's more important for you to have focus than it is to like, or for you to find your focus instead of find your funny. Yeah. So like, if you have a set that is like, what's the idea you're chasing here? The funny will come along, but like, just do the thing. Yeah. Yeah. Just live it. Like, just be comfortable and live that moment. Yeah. Instead of trying to force, force yourself into what you
what you think is funny.
Yeah. Silly. You're
Yeah.
overdoing it. You're
That's like,
overdoing it.
that's why I struggle with feedback from people. Sometimes they're like, oh, what if you changed the wording to this? I'm like, but that's not exactly how it happened.
Right. It's not how it happened. It's not how I would say it.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the best pieces of advice I heard, it was from Blake, but it was through a different comic, where it was like, the joke isn't ready until you feel like you'd say it to your friends.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like until it's in your words. Cause like we all struggle with like, I've written this joke, and then you kind of like recite it.
Yeah.
It's not ready until you're just saying it.
Yeah.
And I've really just like locked into that. I was like, well, this has just got to be me then.
Yeah.
And so many people are scared of the me part.
Yeah. Like the Weeknd is scared of just being himself instead of some weird psychotic vampire.
Way to bring that around. But yeah, vampire is solid. You're
Yeah. That's
yeah,
he is an energy vampire.
like what we do in the shadows. Like
Yeah, he is the original cool energy vampire.
That's
He's
funny.
wow. That's gonna be a 4-hour YouTube video I'm gonna make.
Nice. It's just you in a dark room
Yeah.
talking about it. Conspiracy theories. My official answer for this was like just I think being a comedian is a weird suit to put on. Mm-hmm. Especially like in the dating world, which I know you're not a part of anymore.
Yeah, thank
Asshole.
goodness.
Yeah. It's a weird suit because like when you meet people, they have a certain expectation of you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you have no idea what comedians are really like. You really don't.
Yeah, I know
like,
people are like, oh, you just what you do theater or something
Nope.
once a week.
Yeah, I was like, no. Like so like the perceptions that come with that are so weird to shake, and like I'm not on all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm mostly just tired.
Yeah.
Like, or I'm busy. Like I have shit going on. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like and like I always like viewed myself as like sort of like an artist as opposed to like any one thing. Like recently my mantra has been like comedy is the ingredient, not the entree. Mm-hmm. And like I've really just been hanging on to that, and like it's hard to explain that to people because they're like people don't understand complexity apparently.
Yeah. Well, especially like newer comics, they're like, what do you mean you're not, we're all in this to get famous, right? It's like, no, you should not be, that should not be your intention. Your intention should first of all to be funny because you're not funny right
Yeah.
now.
First of all, if you got famous tomorrow, it'd because you're bad.
Yeah,
Not because-
exactly. You're Kill Tony set bomb,
Yeah.
and you've got infamy.
And like as far as like I gravitated towards comedy because it is the simplest medium for me to produce. Mm-hmm. Like it is like the thing that I feel the least resistance doing. Like it was like the path, that just made the most sense. But like explaining is like that to folks who are like, you're a stand-up comedian, and I'm like, sure. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah, people either assume you're like, I'm sure, like the worst, or you're like Matt Rife level.
yeah, or they're like, roast me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like you have to. Usually with roasts, like I have to not like you a little bit to get to that space. So like I have a really hard time with like people I'm like pursuing dating wise to be like,
oh yeah, you should not be roasting.
Right. I was like, well, no, because I'm like a respectful person. Like talk to me after you dump me. I'll have a plenty.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I can't.
Yeah, that's like The Game. You remember that MTV show The Game? Or like the guy's name was I think he was The Game, but he wore a big fuzzy hat. And his whole thing was like teaching incels how to like nag women to get them to like them. They were like, give her a compliment and then neg her and then give her another compliment so her self-confidence is down.
Oh my God.
And she'll think you're really cool. It was like, you would say like, that is a nice dress, but doesn't really fit you very well in your hips, but the color looks amazing on you.
Gross. People at home, please never do that. It's so weirdly
Do it.
manipulative.
Do it.
You'll get a wife.
Gosh, no. If anyone is the mean one in the relationship, it's me. I'm like, oh, because my family's kind of mean, so we all roast each other, and Garrett's like, that's not normal. You have to talk about your feelings sometime.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely not.
If you're my sister, she'd be like, it's normal.
Yeah, like
It's normal for David
you just
to
be
roast me.
mean to each other until someone cries on Christmas Eve. Like,
Done.
that's the holidays. No, I don't think people understand there is a barrier between comedy and your actual personality. Like,
Yeah.
even with me and Garrett, people are like, oh, you're probably at home tagging each other's jokes. It's like,
Christ.
no, we're sitting talking about like bills and groceries
Yeah.
and our cat. We're mostly just watching our cats run around.
I can't imagine a worse life than coming home and just riffing with your partner.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck? Like, oh my God. I would feel like, because like, don't get me wrong. I try to be as authentic as possible in my stand-up, but it's still stand-up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's still like, I'm not going to be riffing with you about shit at the house because it is
Yeah.
exhausting.
But like, we try to like make it like, if I'm like, hey, I have a question for you about this joke, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna like do a bit on my husband.
Like, he drops a plate and you're like, bazinga. You know, like, it's not like, you're like, Wing.
yeah, I'm like, God, we gotta order another plate so we have exactly 8.
Yeah, home is where your idiosyncrasies come out.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, we're in separate rooms working on spreadsheets, tracking a weird thing in our life that we don't need to use spreadsheets with. And we can't do it together because he uses Google Sheets and I refuse to. And I have a personal Microsoft subscription I pay for so I can have full Excel access.
No, I can't share this with you.
Yeah, he's like, just add this to my spreadsheet. I said, absolutely not. Will I even open Google Sheets? It's just pay $8 a month, you get Excel.
There you go. I won't, but like,
You should.
information for people out there, you can get Excel for $8 a month.
If you want to collaborate with me on anything, please have real Excel.
Perfect.
And I will type a full script into Excel.
Ooh,
That's where I'll do my sketches.
nice.
It's just graphs.
All right, Osha. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks
That's
for
the end of
having
our
me.
show. Hell yeah. If you like this, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. I like doing this, and it makes me feel good when people watch it. So, I don't know. The algorithm loves the like button. That's what I found
Really?
out. Yeah, the
Okay.
algorithm on YouTube loves the like button. So, just like it up, gang. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.